Quick disclaimer, we are not investigative journalists. We simply read, watch, and listen to whatever we can to satisfy our curiosity while use this information to form our own personal opinions. Do not take this as investigative journalism. This is simply our own rabbit holes.
Hello, friends, and get ready. We're going to talk about the docs, the crimes, and all the people involved. This is Crime and Chill. Hi guys, I'm Victoria.
I'm Rachel.
So, how are you?
You know, I'm just enjoying my ice cream and sitting in my own sorrow that no one wanted to talk to us.
Yeah, we just got done with the live stream that we did on our Instagram, and we only had like 3 or 4 people, but that's okay. It's kind of sad. It was lonely.
Yeah, I'm so lonely.
It is posted on our Instagram.
I have nobody to call my own.
You dumb.
Akon came in my head.
So it is posted on our Instagram if you want to go rewatch it, because you missed
2 hours of us rambling.
It wasn't even 2 hours. It was like an hour and a half of rambles and also Murdaugh updates.
And there's a lot of updates in the Murdaugh world.
Mm-hmm.
I could really fill a whole nother episode of things I wanted to talk about with them.
For reals. So, crime news. What's going on?
Someone that we all know, Susan Smith, you know, the woman in jail for killing her kids, is up for parole in 2024 and wants to marry her jail cell pen pal boyfriend.
This fucking woman, man.
In a statement from a family friend or a family relative, what'd she say? Well, who was this person that made the statement?
Relative.
Relative? She's imagining the normalcy of a married life. She wants everything in life that she believes has passed her by. So yeah, she is talking about marriage with him and thinking that she could spend the last part of her life as a wife and stepmother.
Bitch, you don't even be nowhere near kids.
There ain't nowhere in the world I would allow this bitch near my kids.
Hell no. You killed your kids for a fucking man.
Right? So there's 2 letters that People magazine have seen that she has sent to the man who is in his mid-40s and has grown children.
Oh, they're grown?
Yeah, they're grown.
Okay, well, that makes me a little bit more comfortable.
Hopefully
Hopefully he doesn't have grandkids, though.
Right? Smith wrote in one letter, I can't wait to build a life with you. Leave the past mistakes behind and start fresh. Just me and you. How do you leave those mistakes in the past? You literally killed your own flesh and blood.
We don't deserve to leave it in the past.
The relative of Susan Smith says she's talking like a schoolgirl about it, just saying how much she's in love with him. It's a bit strange since she's never met him in person. But she is sure that he is Mr. Right.
Well, you thought that about the guy you killed your fucking kids for, too.
Susan Smith is now 50 years old, and she is one of the most notorious prisoners in South Carolina history. On October, and then it just goes into how she set up, she was carjacked by a black man. But yeah, she thinks she's going to get out in 2024 and marry this guy.
Ain't nobody letting you out, bitch. Do you know what would happen if they let her out? She would be fucking murdered.
I mean, I'm surprised she thinks she'll even get parole.
I mean, wasn't it up until recently she was constantly getting in trouble?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I saw that, like, she kept getting infractions.
I'll have to look that up. Go ahead, though. What do we got for today?
Alright. Today's episode is just kind of like, it's gonna be kind of quick, but it's interesting. So I want to talk about an event that took place, causing 7 deaths in 1982.
I wasn't even born yet.
Me either. You know what we're talking about? Any guesses?
7 deaths, 1982. I mean, how were they killed? Guns? Bombs? Poison? Was it the cult killings?
No, we are talking about the Tylenol Murders.
Oh, cool.
So, if you don't know about this case, because A, you're too young, or B, you were alive and you don't remember, or C, you're just never heard of it, which I don't know how the fuck you haven't heard of it. The Tylenol Murders took place in September and October of 1982.
There's some great shows on it.
And still to this day, nobody has ever been charged being the person
received consequences
for the murders. So, what happened with the Tylenol murders is in the Chicago area, Tylenol bottles were found to have been laced with potassium chloride. The youngest victim was 12 and the oldest was only 35. And several of the members were from one family that died. So once they finally connected the dots, the hospitals connected all the dots and everything, that all these people all 7 people had ingested Tylenol and then just dropped dead because they were all healthy. Everybody was fine. Again, the youngest was fucking 12 years old. 12-year-olds don't just drop dead normally. They performed tests on the Tylenol and they found that there was, from my understanding, I was confused. A lot of people get confused with lace means. In this case, it's somebody put potassium chloride pills in with the Tylenol. which you can't imagine happening now because you see how tight lock medication bottles are and how many freaking things you got to open to get into it, and this is why.
Unless it happens at the factory.
Unless it does happen at the factory, which is even more terrifying to think about. Hospitals quickly warned the area to try to stop any more deaths. And honestly, the whole investigation that they were doing at the time and how everything connected and stopped and everything happened, it was pretty quick. They did stop everything pretty damn quick. They figured out that the Tylenol, the bottles of Tylenol were manufactured in 2 different locations, Pennsylvania and Texas. And since this was only happening in one area and not all over where these items were distributed, they figured out that it had to be after the Tylenol was put on the shelves, somebody was tampering with it.
Are they the reason why the medication is so, like, you gotta take there's a tap on it, like a thing you gotta peel off, and then there's a thing inside?
Mm-hmm. So, there were 5 bottles connected to the 7 victims, and then they later found more bottles containing the cyanide. Johnson & Johnson, who, if you didn't know, manufactures Tylenol.
That's why I don't take Tylenol.
Quickly put out warnings to hospitals and stopped the manufacturing and production. And on October 5th, they did a nationwide recall of Tylenol. They estimate, at the time, there was over 30 million bottles of Tylenol in circulation. Estimation, retailing at over $100 million at the time. That would be $300 million now.
About, yeah.
So yeah, they put a stop to the Tylenol, that happening pretty quickly.
Dude, can you believe 1982 is 40 years ago? What the fuck?
I wasn't alive, so that doesn't affect me.
I mean, I wasn't alive either, but if that never felt like that far ago.
Okay, so let's talk about suspects. And like I said...
You mean suspect?
Nope, I mean suspects.
But they stopped after 1.
Okay, so, suspects. So during the investigation, a man named James Lewis sent a letter to Johnson & Johnson demanding $1 million, which is almost $3 million now, to stop the murders. He was arrested and convicted of extortion, and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. But during his trial, his attorneys claimed that James only meant to focus the attention of authorities on his wife's former employer, which I can't figure out why, and also is fucking stupid. Like, what did you think was going to happen? According to court documents that were released in 2009, the Department of Justice investigators did conclude that James was responsible for the poisoning, despite the fact that they didn't have enough evidence to charge him. Like, they had no evidence supporting this fact.
Nope, because they even checked his DNA and it didn't match.
Yeah, in January of 2010, James and his wife both submitted fingerprints and DNA.
He already submitted fingerprints and DNA when he was arrested and charged.
Yeah, and they did it in 2010. They did it again, and James is quoted at that time of saying, quote, "If the FBI plays it fair, I have nothing to worry about." And he still denies responsibility.
I don't think he did it.
So there were 3 other people that were looked at for this case. There was a Roger Arnold. He was pretty quickly cleared, but he did have a nervous breakdown because of the media attention he was getting, and he blamed Marty Sinclair, who owned a bar, which I'm guessing the reason why he did that is because Marty might have made it to where he got the attention. So in the summer of 1983, Roger shot and killed John Stancia, I don't know how to say that last name, who was unrelated to anything. But Roger mistook John for Marty.
Oops.
So he shot and killed somebody else thinking it was Marty. And in January 1984, Roger was convicted of second-degree murder, and he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He only served 15 of those years because he died in 2008. Another person that they looked at was Lori Dunn. She went on a rampage in 1988 in Illinois, and she poisoned and shot people, but there was also no connection there. She just went on a rampage. And they've revisited a lot. They have revisited this case a lot to try and figure it out. And in 2011, they took DNA from Ted Kaczynski, a.k.a. the Unabomber.
Which makes absolutely no sense.
Well, he denied ever having potassium cyanide. And the only reason they looked at him, because the first 4 crimes happened in the Chicago area, and his parents had a home in the area in 1982 where he stayed from time to time. But they didn't have... So that's literally all there is on the Tylenol. That aspect of it. Because, like I said, they have nothing. They have never had anything.
They obviously have DNA, though, if they wanted the...
Yeah, they have something.
Yeah, if they were looking for DNA, they have.
And they have surveillance video of one of the victims buying the Tylenol, and they said there was like a bearded man behind her that they think might have been responsible.
I mean...
And I'm like, a random person on a video doesn't help anybody, especially in the 80s.
Especially when those bottles could have been tampered with all at one time. Mm-hmm. So somebody could have just been...
I think they were all bought at different stores.
Yeah, no, but you could have, like, went to one store, put a bunch of cyanide in one, and then go to another store, put a bunch in. And they would have had to have been on top, because they all happened in, like, a course of, like, 3 days or something like that, I think. Mm-hmm. So it had to be ones that were all... Like, they didn't, like, shake the bottle to have it, like, be a mystery. It was, like, the first pill you were going to take out of the bottle was going to kill you.
If you didn't, like, ruffle it around or something. Yeah. And then, obviously, multiple, because like I said, several of the victims were from one family. So you put a lot in there. But this did create copycats.
Do you count your pills when you buy them now? I do. I count from the pharmacy and when I get.
I count from the pharmacy.
And the, like my Tylenol or something. I don't buy Tylenol, but, like, I buy ibuprofen or Motrin. Mm-hmm. I count them.
I don't, because I buy them in the big bottles from Sam's.
I don't care. I do too.
I ain't got time for that shit. So, this did result in copycat stuff. So, in 86, 3 more deaths occurred from tampered gelatin capsules, which, you know, there's difference. There's tablets and there's gel capsules.
Gel capsules are my favorite.
Of course. So, one woman died after ingesting extra-strength Tylenol capsules laced with cyanide. Excedrin capsules in Washington State were tampered with, resulting in the death of 2 people from cyanide poisoning. But the Excedrin one of the victims' names are Susan Snow and Bruce Nichols. There was an arresting conviction of Bruce Nichols' ex-wife Stella Nichol because she did it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if she did it. I'm just saying there was one of the cases where it was done the same way. They tampered with the bottle. I can't remember the case now, though. It wasn't her, though.
In 86, there was also a University of Texas student, Kenneth Ferries, who was found dead in his apartment after cyanide poisoning from tampered Attican capsules. But, so first his death was ruled as a homicide on May 30th. And then on June 19th, the AP Associated Press reported that the medical examiner ruled his death a likely suicide.
What the fuck?
And the FDA determined he obtained the cyanide stuff obtained the poison from a lab he was working in at the time. So that's what they're saying happened with that. Obviously, like we said, you know now that if you go and buy medicine, there is a lot of tamper-resistant packaging now. Seals, quality control stuff, all that. And then product tampering was made a federal crime after that, which it wasn't before, which it should have been. Why was it not? Those new laws did result in Stella Nichols' conviction, and she was sentenced to 90 years in prison. And that's what and now, you know, we see a lot more, you don't see a whole lot of capsule type medicine anymore, because that's like the solid capsules, you know what I mean? Like Midol.
I'm sorry, I just found this case where this woman kills her husband because he wouldn't eat her. You know what I mean?
Damn!
I was totally listening, though. There's no solid capsules anymore.
Not really. They kind of moved away from those a lot. Midol is a solid capsule. A lot of Tylenol still is, too. But they kind of moved away from that, at least for a little while, because the cyanide capsules looked identical, and that's why they happened. But now, you know, like I said, you know, you have to get, a lot of it's in a box now. So you have to open the box, you have to open the bottle, you have to take the stuff off the bottle, you have to take the cotton stuff out of the bottle. There's a lot of ways that shit can't get fucked with anymore. And it also resulted in candy sales being down not the Halloween of 1982 because of that incident. Because you know, we've all heard of people giving out poison candy, stuff with razor blades.
All right, I want to know why the fuck were they putting razor blades in apples?
Was anybody actually doing that?
I have no proof that they were, but again, I haven't really looked into it. I just think it's crazy. I still check my kids' candy just because I'm seeing what I want to eat out of it.
I mean, I'm all for checking your kids' candy. But here's the thing, guys, and I say this every year. Nobody is going to give your kids drugs.
Okay, I used to think that too. But with the new packaging on these gummies...
It can be mistaken. I can see that. But it wouldn't have ever been intentional. You know how expensive that shit is?
Oh, believe me, I know. But it would never be intentional because you're not going to give away free drugs. Okay?
No.
It ain't going to happen.
No.
But
most people that use marijuana gummies and stuff like that, they're not out to hurt no damn buddy, and they don't want to share.
Like that woman, I think it was in Colombia, that had the THC gummies in her treasure chest for the kids' prizes. Like, what the fuck was she thinking?
She just didn't pay attention. That's just straight ignorance.
I mean, so yes, check your kids' candy, but they're not purposely out to kill your kids.
No. Nobody is going to purposely give your kids marijuana. If your kid gets marijuana laced gummies, take it out of their bags, go eat it yourself, and shut the fuck up.
And then eat all their candy. Because that's what's going to happen.
Yup. Also, don't eat the whole thing of marijuana gummies at one time. That's not a good plan. You're going to be very high.
Depends how many are in there and how many milligrams they are.
I don't know. I've never bought them, so.
I mean, I know some states, like, they sell, like, actual marijuana candy, and you can, like, Sour Patch Kids by little packs.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen that.
The fun sizes.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can eat those whole
That
packs.
was recently on one of the police Facebook pages, because, you know, they love to post a drug bust. They love to show you how much marijuana they got off the streets, because, you know, marijuana's so bad for you. Shut the fuck up.
Hopefully, by the time this airs, we will hear that the Senate has passed
Yeah.
decriminalization.
As they should. It should have never been a criminal offense to begin with. It's a plant. Calm the fuck down.
It's a plant you should grow yourself and not buy from drug dealers, though.
I agree. Because,
You can
again,
get laced marijuana.
you can get laced marijuana. I've been very lucky of not getting it.
I have gotten laced marijuana.
And I assume that wasn't a fun time.
Oh, it was the best time ever. But it was so good, I knew that it had to be laced.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was.
I mean, listen, we're not shy about admitting the fact that we have used marijuana.
Oh, I use Delta 8 all the time, every night,
It's legal.
for now.
And you use it to help you sleep.
Yeah, I only go to bed with it.
Yeah. I think it's not like, you know, even when I don't anymore, but when I was smoking weed, I didn't smoke all day, every day.
No.
That wasn't all I did. That's like
No,
I said
but
with
I
everything.
want a day where the kids are, like, at grandma's house and I could just, like, sit there and smoke pot and watch movies. Like, I just want that. Just one night.
It sounds like a good day.
It does. It just sounds like a great day, but I don't want the kids home.
Which I have done that.
Yeah, before I had kids.
Yeah. But it wasn't an all the time thing. It was a once in a blue moon thing.
Yeah.
But normally, the main times I smoked, PMS cramps, because God, it's the best thing ever.
Oh, it doesn't touch mine.
And I have a autoimmune disorder that's very painful. It helped with the pain a lot. That's really the main reasons I smoked, was it got me out of pain. I didn't smoke just to get high. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Was being high fun? Yeah. But I went to sleep.
It depends on, it depends. If I'm just smoking to go to bed, then I'm smoking to go to bed. If I'm smoking to have a good movie and sex night, then I'm not smoking the same. There's a difference amount. You know what I mean? Like, smoking to go to bed, it's literally you, like, smoke and go to bed. I'm not out driving around and...
No, because normal people don't do that.
I mean...
They're getting high and sitting at home and either eating everything in fucking sight,
yeah, that's true.
or passing out, because it helps people sleep. There's medical studies on what it does. It helps you sleep. It helps cancer patients.
It's actually the guy who found Delta 9, which is what regular street marijuana is. Mm-hmm. He is actually my second cousin.
Oh.
His name is Raphael Meshulam, and he is still alive. He lives in Israel. He is old as fuck, but if you look up that name, I can spell it for you guys. It's Mecholum. You can look up the studies behind THC and its benefits.
There you go. There's some
And he is
if
a
you want it.
scientist. He literally has won awards for his research.
We love it.
My grandfather was not happy when my mother found out.
I can imagine.
I'm never going to forget this story. She was sitting in the bathtub with some science magazine because she's a fucking nerd. And she was reading, and all of a sudden she saw her last name, but spelt differently, but knew that's how their family spelt it in Israel because that's where they're from originally. And she runs downstairs in a towel to show my grandfather and says, see, Dad, this person says marijuana is blah, blah, whatever. He says, I don't know for sure. And he was like, yeah, that's your cousin. And her mind was blown. Anyways, back to today's scheduled talk about tampering with Tylenol.
Yeah, so that's why you see all the tamper-proof stuff. It's because of the Tylenol murders, which is also known as the Chicago Tylenol murders because it was centralized to Chicago.
And if you look up death by Tylenol, there's other cases that people have done it to their own bottle.
Yeah.
To get somebody in their own household murdered.
Yep, and that's horrible.
It is.
So, that's all I have.
That's all I have. And the heat's scary.
Very. That's just something quick to talk about, that I think the whole case is interesting. I mean, I know it's horrible, don't get me wrong, it's horrible, but it's very interesting to me that somebody...
It's interesting to me that it was only 40 years ago that they started putting safety precautions on our medications.
I mean, you guys, I don't know if it was as wide everywhere else as it was here, but because it happened here with the Bluebell ice cream
Yeah,
thing.
that was all over the world.
Yeah, so the Bluebell ice cream thing where they opened the thing, licked it, and put it back.
Yeah.
Because Bluebell didn't have things over their ice cream. But I didn't buy ice cream that didn't have that.
The ice cream you just ate didn't have that. And that was Edie's.
Oh, good to know.
Like, I don't know any ice cream that has that unless you're buying the pints.
No, like what's a pint?
The little ones.
No, so the little ones have it, and then, what brand is it? I think it's Breyers of the the oval containers, they have it. Or it's at least like a plastic seal on the outside.
I have never, not any of my ice creams have the
Look,
the
next time you
thing
go to
on
the
it.
store, you'll see that they have like some
I'm
of them
not
have the
opening
plastic.
them.
I'm not saying open them, I'm saying the outside. You'll see some of them that have the plastic on the outside. I mean, I'm not mad at this ice cream. It's good. I'm sure if you opened it and it looked weird, you wouldn't have gave it to me. I would hope not.
I mean, are you going to be able to tell somebody licked it, though?
I don't know.
Do you remember, this has nothing to do with that, but do you remember at the beginning of the pandemic where there were people going around coughing on people?
My God.
And they definitely did not have.
Okay, also, I saw this on TikTok while we're on the subject of the beginning of the pandemic. I saw people on TikTok and they're like, it's crazy that 2-3 years ago we were all washing our groceries. And I'm like, y'all were washing your groceries?
People were. Not me, but people were.
I wasn't. I'm like, it's fucking groceries. And also, if you weren't washing fruit before you ate it, that's your fucking problem, dude.
You weren't washing fruit or vegetables before you eat it, unless you buy organic. So, like, if I...
Even if you buy organic, if you buy it from a store, multiple
Yes.
people have touched it.
Exactly. What I meant by buy organic is, like, you went to the farm and you picked it yourself. But either
Yeah.
then, you still have to wash it because it has the dirt on it from being in the ground.
If you weren't washing your fucking fruit and vegetables before you ate them, that's your fucking fault.
First of all, if you're not washing them, how did they stay fresh? Because bacteria causes them to rot quicker.
Mm-hmm. That's just, I'm like, y'all are fucking disgusting that you weren't washing
But there
that.
was people who were, like, wiping down their stuff
I
with
saw
Lysol.
people showing the video of them, like, soap and water in a sink, giving a bag of chips in there to clean it.
You're not eating the fucking bag.
You're going to be touching the bag to eat the chips is apparently their reasoning.
Well, you should have been washing your hands and putting them into a bowl and not eating like an animal.
As we ate chips out of bags earlier.
Because we're here and we're animals. And on that note, I think we're going to wrap today because I'm old and tired.
Same. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in this week, guys. Be sure to follow us on all the social medias, on the Tickety Talk, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Twitter, the YouTube machine. Make sure to be tuned because you never know when we're going to do a live instead of an episode. And also, lives mean you get to talk to us. You can ask questions directly about things.
We may even let you, like, come on and we can see your face. Like,
Yeah,
if
I would gladly do that. I would love
Yeah.
that. So, thanks for tuning in this week. Make sure to rate and all the things on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube if you're listening there. Like and
Subscribe
comment.
on the Purple Podcast app.
The Purple Podcast app?
It's Apple.
Oh, okay.
Because if you subscribe to it, it'll notify you every time.
Yep. So make sure you do all that. Same thing with Spotify. If you subscribe, it'll notify you when there's a new episode. So thanks for tuning in this week. We will see you guys next week. Bye.